What is up, car addicts? Welcome back to the series where I build popular movie slash TV show vehicles using cars in GTA Online. Remember to let me know down below in the comments what movie slash TV show car you want to see me customize next, and I'll display the most liked vehicle suggestion comment in the next build video. Now again guys, remember that I do have a separate series for the Fast and Furious cars, so again this movie slash TV show series is for the other popular movie vehicles. So in today's video, we're going to be building Francesco Bernoulli from the movie Cars 2, which is mainly based on multiple F1 cars from 2009. So for this build, we are going to be using the Benefactor BR8, which has the most similar shape and styling elements to Francesco. Now alternatively, you can also use the Brawn PR4 since it has a closer livery to Francesco, but the shape of the BR8 is closer and the livery options aren't too terrible, so that's the one we're going to be using for this video. But anyways, let's go ahead and start the build for Francesco Bernoulli from the movie Cars 2. Alright, Francesco Bernoulli, let's do it, from Cars 2. Alright, so as usual for all these builds I always do max armor and performance mods, so we'll do all that. Front wings. So Francesco's front wing, I mean, it's fairly simple, it's not anything crazy, and I think all these other splitters here just have way too much going on personally. So I think either the stock or the medium front wing is going to be the two closest options. So I'm just going to stick with the stock. Moving on to engine, we'll max out. Exhaust. This one's personal preference. I mean, you can't really see Francesco's exhaust, so that one's up to you. Personally, I mean, it really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go with the aluminum, I guess. Liveries. So this is this is the unfortunate part of this car. So the Brawn PR4 has a livery which is pretty close, as you can see here. But in terms of this car, there's only really two liveries that look, you know, somewhat close. The first one is gonna be the Minemot livery. So this one with the green as your primary color instead of the silver. Then the other one, which I think is just a little bit closer, is going to be this one right here, the Redwood livery. So even though it does have the blue, it's a bit of a shame in there, but yeah, we're just going to go ahead and put that on there. And then speaking of respray, you want to go with a classic bright green. Right here, classic bright green. And then secondary, you want to go ahead and make that white. So you can have those white accents. Frost white or ice white, doesn't matter. Francesco's was really bright, so I think personally the ice white's a bit closer, so we'll do that there. And then it will show how it looks on the other livery. So that's how it looks on this one, but you can see the front splitter is forced in black. It's just too much. The front splitter kind of ruins it for me, especially the black down below as well. So in general, I think the Redwood is the way to go in terms of the closest we can get with all the options that we have, as you can see here. So yeah, by far I think the Ecola one's kind of good too, but not enough. It's too much green. Way too much green. So yeah, Redwood's the way to go. Continuing to skirts. So Francesco did have a nice kind of like swoopy side skirt, and I think the lightened aerodynamic one is probably the closest. These just have way too much going on, these extra fins and stuff, and that this one just changes the scoop position. So yeah, lightened aerodynamic body, we're gonna do that one. Spoiler upgrade. So we have all these different wings here. The closest one, at least to me, is going to be the cutoff wing. Francesco's wing wasn't huge, right? It wasn't, I mean, these are just massive, and this one's cut off kind of weird. To be the closest is going to be the cutoff wing, so we'll do that. Transmission will max out. Turbo, I don't think Francesco was turbocharged. You know, cars are naturally aspirated, so yeah, we'll just leave that stock, I suppose, so we don't have the turbo sound. Even though you kind of want that if you want to have the fastest open wheel car in the game, which this is, but we'll skip it for now and for the sake of the build, I suppose. All right, now in terms of wheels, you want to go, you know, to your open wheel category. And then you want to go all the way to the grid lines. You can go with the grid line, or you can also go with the super spoke. But to me, the super spoke, I feel like it's just synced way too far in there. The grid lines are better, I think. But you know, all personal preference. But personally, I'm gonna go with the grid line, the regular ones. And for wheel color, you just want to go down here to red, apply that. And then tire design, you want to make sure you put one of the white tire lettering on here. It doesn't matter which one. You can do Atomic, you can do the Fukuru, or this one down here, which is kind of like a reference to Pirelli, even though there's no white version of this one. I feel like the letters on his were really bright. I mean, you could go with the Atomic. I think I'm gonna go with the Fukuru tire lettering on here, so we'll go with that. But you know, you can also go with the Atomic. Doesn't really matter. And that's all the options there. So not a crazy build, but you know, a few little details and options. And then the general shape is on this one is definitely a lot better than the PR4. All right, let's take it for a drive. Exit to ground. These are a ton of fun to drive, the open wheel cars, and the parts break off and stuff, so you gotta be really careful onto the sunlight there. I do wish this livery had a bit more white contrast, but it just is what it is. We did the best we could. I think the front splitter is a nice reference, but I just wish the actual main body had more white accents in this livery. Maybe even if they would have done white instead of the blue kind of stripe that goes with the Redwood livery, that probably would have been a bit better. But first person here. These open wheel cars are so sick. This view is nuts. Awesome. Alright, floor it. This thing is insanely quick. And of course, the handling is on rails. The open wheel cars have the best handling in the... Oh my god, whoa, there you go. That's the reaction there. As I was saying that, they have the best handling in the whole game. And the game was like, let's test that really quick. The AI traffic. Oh man. Yeah, no, these things, you can take corners at almost full speed. And, oh, you just gotta be so careful though, because the slower you go, the less downforce you have, kind of like a real open wheel car. So you kind of have to go faster to turn quicker, if that makes sense. Look at this. It's so insane. I've always loved these open wheel cars. It's kind of a shame. I mean, Rockstar did try, you know, with the racing, but it just, in GTA, it just doesn't work that well, because there's really no penalty for causing a massive wreck in the race, other than damaging your parts, and it's just an absolute mess, and then it affects the downforce on these cars. But still a lot of fun. There's some first-person action here. Okay, this thing is wild to drive in first person. Big corner here. Oh, and then of course you have the boost, which you just honk the horn and boom, use the boost. Jesus. You take this at full speed. Oh, got some bumps. Ah! Yeah, still did it pretty well. Yeah, these things are just a riot. So much fun. Just really expensive, but when you compare how expensive real F1 cars are, this isn't too bad. I believe from what I read a while ago, I think a real F1 engine is like $10 million. Just the engine alone. So I mean, this thing for, what was it? I think it was 3.8 million. That's not all that bad. That's not all that bad when you consider, you know, real life prices, especially when Rockstar overinflates everything. They did not overinflate these. They could have easily charged probably 10 mil for these open wheel cars if they really want to, but they didn't. Even though Rockstar has been changing the prices on stuff. Let's hope they don't touch this, but... So there you go, guys. That's the Francesco Bernoulli build from the movie that probably wasn't as popular as the other Cars movies. I would say Cars 2 is probably the worst of the bunch, but it's still a decent Pixar movie, right? I wouldn't say it was terrible, but yeah, this character was awesome. The Italian F1 car, super cool. But again, guys, anyways, hope you enjoyed the build, and of course, let me know down below what movie/TV show build you want to see me do next. Hopefully it's not Cars related again. I think we've done plenty of the Cars related content. We should kind of switch it up a bit to some other stuff, but I think we've done most of the popular Cars inspired vehicles that we're able to in GTA Online at this point. But thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.